Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of The Minority Advantage. Today I have here with me Rich. He's an advisory solutions engineer. Hey, Rich, how you doing today?
Boss, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How's Ohio? How's the
Man,
cold?
it's cold, but I love it.
Good to
Personally, I love the cold out here.
Okay, how is the COVID? How is Ohio taking all of it?
Um, so Ohio hasn't been hit that crazy. I mean, when it all started, we've all been hit. Every state was hit. But I think our governor started acting effectively towards it in the early stages. Ohio was probably one of the states that started acting effectively towards COVID in the early stages. So we were able to counterattack it a little bit, but as at now, Ohio is on curfew. I don't know about other states. I know other states are not on curfew, but Ohio has been on curfew for over a month now. So Ohio is very careful and controlling it has been good with that stuff.
Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. I want to get into your career, but before we even get to that and what kind of advice you have for people listening, before we get into that, I want to start with your upbringing. If you can tell us where you were born, what age you came to the United States, and what you did before you started your career as an advisory professional.
Okay. So I was basically born and raised in Ghana, right? In West Africa, Ghana. And talking about my upbringing, I was, I don't know if people are familiar or whoever is familiar in Ghana. If the person has ever lived in Accra, then they are familiar with Newtown and Nima. And these places are basically ghetto, like ghetto. I would probably say below average areas, below average areas where the little kid is basically not known to be going to school. It's known to be, growing up, hustling, finding a way up, and making it in life, whichever way or whatever way it takes. So that is where I grew up in Ghana. I grew up in Newtown, Nima. I mean, if I should tell you this is where I grew up, then life wasn't as much better as I would think you would think for the average person. But I mean, being raised up by single parents, it was never easy. But I never saw anything wrong with it because that was all I knew at that time. That was all I knew. That was how I was brought up. So it was a little bit tough. But then my mom was able to put me through school, and it was a difficult situation. I was in a preparatory school, or let's say a private school, till second grade. And after second grade, mom was like, "Hey, we cannot afford private school anymore, so go to the government school, which we call it Saito." So I mean, I basically moved to the government school and made my way through there. Since third grade, I went through the government system, which you already know in Ghana. It's morning shift, evening shift, afternoon shift, and all that. So went through all that hustle and went to SHS, got to SHS and started some college in Ghana. Then I couldn't finish. Then I came to the States. The first time I came to the States, I went back home because traveling to the States, I was new to the States and everything. So I came for a visit and then went back home and then came back again to settle down. That's how I ended up here.
Okay. So, like you said, for those who do not know where you grew up, so basically, when you talk about a place like Nima, it's known for its slums sometimes, right? It's
Yeah.
slums. It's not. Let's say it's not the perfect place you would want to raise kids. But obviously, you've come away from that struggle and that experience to get here. How do you think that shaped your upbringing?
I think the one of the best gifts I ever received is to live in the slums. Um, I've learned a lot from it. I've really learned a lot from it. I'm not the kind of person that easily gets discouraged because I've seen the worst, I've seen the most. Um, I've been to harder situations. Living in the slums, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. The fights, the distractions, the everything that it comes with. Because everything was there. We saw it all. Everything was there. So I'm not the type of person that easily get discouraged because maybe things are not going on well for me. I know how to work my way all the way to the top because I know where I'm coming from. So the most beautiful way it has ever shaped my life is looking back at where I'm coming from and where I am now. That gives me a lot of motivation to push hard because if I can come from there and I'm here now, then there is nothing I cannot do. So it's one of the motives behind my motivation mostly all the time.
I like that. I like that. You mentioned you started college in Ghana.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you didn't finish?
Um, so I started college in Ghana, and when I was in college, I had my visa to come here. So one thing about college in Ghana was I was studying business administration, and in Africa, IT is not big in Africa. It isn't that big in Africa. So I was doing business administration, which um, I like it, but I don't think that was what my my heart was in. It wasn't something I really wanted to do. And just like everybody, people usually go to college doing courses that maybe their parents wants them to do. It's not because my parents wanted me to do it, but because I knew, oh, Ghana is business, Ghana will go to business school. And if you don't go to business school, then you're probably going to end up in Legon and go do political science, unless maybe you had like a good grade and maybe you want to do pre-med or you want to do law, then you want to do them. I didn't have like that best grade to go do pre-med. Moreover, I didn't want to go to do. I don't want to do anything in science. I didn't want to do anything in law. So I'm like, okay, let me just go do business. So I was doing business administration. My visa came in, and I decided to go move. So I then moved out. Then came to the state. When I came back and I went back, I'm like, okay, since this is not what I really want to do, I don't want to waste that time. I don't want to waste all that time, waste all that money. Then I don't have to be. So I just left.
Oh, okay, that's nice. So when you got here to the States, did you try and pursue college again, or you were like, man, I'm done with this shit?
You know, when I got to the state, I didn't pursue college right away. That I didn't pursue college right away. Although I had it in mind that hey, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna go to college. But trust me, it was all word of mouth for a while. Like it was just word of mouth for a while. Like I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna go to college, but I never went. So, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do. I think I needed a push. Right at some point, I think I needed a push. So it was all word of mouth at most of the time. So I decided that hey, I'm gonna make this happen.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. So, just before we get into your career, so after college, what are some of the roles you held, or what are some of the jobs you did before you got into IT?
Okay, I did a call center job before I got into IT. I did a call center job.
Call center?
Yeah, I did a call center job. So when I let me tell you the story, right? So when I came here, everybody was like, warehouse, go to warehouse, go to warehouse, go to warehouse. I looked at everybody and I realized that you know what, it still looks like it's been instilled in Africans that when you come, you have to do warehouse. Everybody was doing warehouse, but I only wanted to stand out. I only wanted to stand. I'm like, you know what, is warehouse the only thing I can do? So I realized that I can do call center too. I don't have to go to the warehouse. I can also do call center. But this is it. This is the difference between somebody working in the warehouse and somebody working in the call center. Working in the call center, you gain experience in the corporate field. Working in the warehouse, you wouldn't gain that experience. So I decided to go with a call center. I did call center, I gained experience, in the corporate field because that way, you get to interact. You get to interact with people. You know how Americans, behave, how Americans interact, how they communicate whenever they are down, whenever they are up. And one good thing you learn from call center is communication, effective communication. You learn that, and that is needed everywhere. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with call center. I went with that, and at some point, I had to leave because of certain situations. I had to stop the warehouse, and I became an Uber driver. I became an Uber driver for a while. I also became a Lyft driver for a while. I did Uber and I did Lyft for a while too. And it was because I needed time to myself to study.
Okay, I see. So while you were in college, you were still doing the Uber and the Lyft, right?
Yep, while I was in college, I was doing Uber and Lyft.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing story. Yes, and you are right. Lots of people when you come from Ghana, they tell you to go and do the warehouse, right? If you're a lady, they're gonna tell you to get into CNA,
Yep.
or if you're a guy, get into warehouse. So after you graduated, right? After you graduated, tell me, how did you get into IT?
So after I graduated, I worked as a help desk analyst, right? I worked as a help desk analyst um, during my internship. I had an internship. I worked as a help desk analyst during my internship, and God been so good. I was taken in, or I was offered a full time position after my internship. And luckily for me, while I was doing my job or my intern as a help desk analyst, I was also supporting security administration at that time. So the security administration folks was like, "Hey, I think I like this guy. I think I like this guy." And my manager also came out and was like, "Hey, the people you work with, they want you to join you." So they offered me full time position, and I joined the company as well. And that was how things started paving the way for me.
Okay, so you got in there. You would say it wasn't intentional, right? It was just kind of where the path led you to.
I was interested first of all, I was interested in security, which I made it known to my boss that when we were doing my internship interview. One question I remember they asked me was, or one question I remember she asked me was, what was your 5 year goal or your 5 year plan? I laid it out to her. Sorry, I laid it out to her, and the main goal was to become a cybersecurity professional. And they had a security domain within their work. So they took me in because I believe that they knew that because of the work they do, they have a security domain within their capability or within their reach. So they took me in. So that was also easy for them to get me trained because I was also interested to learn. I was very eager and interested to get more into cybersecurity. So that's actually how it happened.
What did you study in college?
I did computer science.
You did computer science in college. Okay,
Yes.
that's nice. What is the title of your role now? And if you can explain what you do.
Okay. So now I'm an advisory solutions engineer.
Okay.
This is the role. With my title right now, I'm not entitled to say that, oh, all I do is security. I do security and that's it. Or let's say I do database and that's it. As an advisory solutions engineer, you have to be knowledgeable of a lot of things in IT. Basically, it is technology heavy, right? So you have to be knowledgeable in a lot of things. You have to be able to dedicate yourself. You have to be trainable. Though now I might focus right now on some of the things that I work on. My focus right now is security. I have been on other projects that are not security focused. You know, I've been on other projects that were a little bit of maybe database, a little bit of something. But as an advisory solutions engineer, you realize that they took away security engineer out of it and they made it solutions engineer. So basically, you you have to be able to provide solutions. Somebody who is able to provide solutions in a lot of fields, right? So now let's say my role that one of the things that I do now is I work on Splunk and I help build Splunk dashboard. I help with I do mostly content development now. That is what I'm working on right
Okay. So it looks like your role is vast, right? It looks like you have something to do with database. You're talking about security here. You're talking about Splunk. If someone came to you, right? I'm from college, or I do not have a college degree, and I say to you, Richard, man, look, I'm having a tough time here. I basically want to do what you're doing. I want to do what you're doing. What is your advice for me?
Okay, so whenever somebody comes, I have a lot of mentees that I'm always trying to help, that I'm always trying to make sure that they get what they. It's not always how it looks on the outside, you know. It's not always how it looks on the outside. The grass is not always green on the outside. You have to know what's on the inside too. You know what makes it green. That's the most important thing. I often ask people, "Are you willing to learn? What motivation do you have to study?" That is the most important thing. What is the motivation that you have to study? And if I tell my mentor is very, very knowledgeable, so I always tell people, listen, my mentor is very, very knowledgeable. My mentor is like, he is so knowledgeable. But you know what he always tells me? We study till the day we retire. He said, the day you stop studying, that is the day you retire. And so if you are somebody who is not self-motivated and you don't know how to push yourself to study, I'm gonna be like, this is definitely not for you. There was something I remember my first certification that I got. I used something called Automobile University. Automobile University basically means that downloading audios or getting audios and listening to them in my car.
What do you call them?
Automobile University.
Automobile University.
Yeah. Getting audios and listening to it in my car. One of the first certifications that I got was Security Plus, CompTIA Security Plus, right? There was this guy called Daryl Gibson. He has an audio. I bought his audio and I was always listening to it in my car. I was always listening to it in my car. So when I'm not at home reading his book and I'm driving, I'm listening to his audio.
You were immersed into the whole thing. That's
Yeah,
how much you sacrificed, and that's how much committed you were to the profession.
yeah. So I'm always telling them, hey, can you do this? If you can do it, this is the field for you. We can get this happen. We can make it happen. And you don't have to worry about maybe I don't have a bachelor's degree. The degree is good. The degree is nice. It's fine. And as I said earlier this year, even the government of the United States made it possible for people who do not have a degree to obtain a government job. So what are you waiting for? I always tell them, if you are self-motivated, if you can do this and you feel like this is who you are, then the path is for you. You can work it out and it will happen.
Okay, so what would you say the salary range is for somebody who comes in wants to start entry level? What is the salary range for that?
Okay, I'll say nothing or zero. If you are new, I'll tell you nothing or zero. When I wanted to get into the field, I was willing to work for nothing because I needed the experience. Give me the experience and you can never take it away from me. When I was looking for an internship, I was looking for an internship even without getting a pay. I'm telling you. Because I know that 3 months period, that 6 months period, if I get what I want, and right if I get my foot into the company, I'm gonna steady myself out. I'm gonna work myself out. You know, the money is good, but look at this. We are young. Come on, we are young, right? We are young. I'm gonna get an internship, maybe 9 to 5, right? And even if you don't pay me 9 to 5, you don't pay me. After 5, I get my car, I go do Uber just to buy me gas to afford something I can buy to work while I'm getting my internship. I don't try to let anything stop me. The money you might make it, but in the beginning, you should think about how you will get there. I was looking, but there was this guy at my workplace who I think he's one of the managers of one of these good companies out there. And I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for internship. I don't want to be paid. I need the experience. He was like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm sure. And then he's like, fine, I'll work it out. Unfortunately, he tried working it out. I didn't get that internship. My internship that I got, fortunately for me, it was a paid internship. But this is what I'm saying, Elvis. Even if I had the internship and it wasn't a paid internship, I would have done it. Because I know I would have gotten the experience that I wanted. I know when I get into the company, I'll prove myself valid for them to hire me. Because I know I have the work ethic. business. I know what it takes. So just give me the chance. Other than that, once you already have your foot in the door, you can name your price. And you name your price because you know what you're doing, right? So you actually put a price tag on you. You can then put a price tag on you and tell you, hey, I am worth $180,000. I am worth $300,000. If you're not giving me that, I am not coming in. And once a company knows that you know this, you are capable of doing this, if they want you, trust me, they will adjust their budget to get you.
Okay, so I like that. I like the fact that you say you do anything to get into the role. Once you get that information and once you get that knowledge that you need, nobody can take it away from you. And from there, you can decide to go anywhere you want. You can decide to name your price
Yep.
and all of that stuff. So I like that mentality. And I would like people to have that mentality to not think about maybe the salary on their first job. That is great. But usually on the first job, how much do you see people making? What is the average you see people making?
So I've seen, depending on the role you are going for,
Hmm.
depending on the role you are going for, I have seen people getting paid anywhere from 42,000 up. From 42,000 up. People people are lucky. Some people are very lucky. They get paid like 70,000. You know, 70,000, and I'm like, oh wow, that's good. Some people are very lucky. They get paid like 40 something. But you see, that is also good.
Okay.
But I really, as somebody getting into the industry, I really do not advise people like, hey, be strict on the money, be strict on the money, go follow the money. And trust me, others, if this is something you love, most of the time you don't think about the money, you know, because sometimes you can follow the money and the job will stress you out. The company might even stress you out.
I see what you're saying. So there is a decent salary range to start, but like you said, you don't want people coming in to really zone in on the salary in the beginning, because that might just blur the lines for you. Just stay in there and get what you need to get. From what you're saying, it tells me that when you're going higher in the field, that means there is an opportunity to make some money. That's
Yeah.
why you're not really worried about the beginning. Just the beginning, you need to focus on what you need to do, because it tells me that moving onwards, there is there is an advantage, or there's an opportunity to make some good money. Would you say it's possible for somebody who did not go to college to enter your field, to come in there and make six figures in a reasonable amount of time?
Yes. A big yes. It's
A big
very possible. A big yes. A very big yes. A very, very big yes. See, college. When you go to college, right? And just to let you know, I don't have a bachelor's degree. I only have an associate degree. You know, but I can tell you, I work with one of the biggest companies. You know, and this company hiring me knew I didn't have a bachelor's degree, but they knew I had the skills. I know people who do not have a bachelor's degree, but they are holding good positions and making good money. Companies are not hiring degrees anymore. That is one thing we have to know. The degree is good, but companies are not hiring the degrees anymore. They are hiring your skills and experiences.
So that's good to know. I mean, you can pursue the job or that industry without a degree and be able to hit the six figure mark. What would you say? Just one number. What would you say on average it would take somebody from starting to get to a six figure mark? How many years would you think that would take on
Oh,
average?
I won't put a year to it. It can even take 6 months for somebody to hit six figures.
6 months?
Yes. Okay, so let's say this. Let's say I'm a software developer, right? When I got to the field, I've been struggling because I refuse to educate myself,
No,
right?
let's use the security field.
So let's say let's say I'm a cybersecurity engineer or cybersecurity analyst. Let's say I'm a cybersecurity analyst, right? I got to the field. I don't have. I got to the field maybe. I've been working in the field for like a month, 2 months, 6 months. I enjoy what I do as a cybersecurity analyst, taking 60,000. I'm so happy. I enjoy. I'm content, because I've been told to be content with what I have. So I'm so content. I don't educate myself. I'm not planning to get my CISSP. I'm not planning to do anything because I have a good job. Elvis, that person will stay in that position for 6 years, 3 years. And if the company is not giving him a promotion, that person is going to be there forever because he's content. On the other side, there was this guy who just came to the company a month ago. The guy is always looking for people to shadow. He's shadowing his seniors, he's shadowing the engineers to see what they are doing, he's learning from them, getting the experience that he wants. He's writing certifications, he's been able to get his CISSP, he's been probably able to get his OSCP, you know, getting getting all these certifications within 6 months. And this is one good thing about certification. Certification is not college. College, you are not being taught deep into the technical things that you need for your work. Certifications, that is what you are learning, or that is what you're studying.
Basically, what I've gotten for everything you said since I asked you that question about how many years it's going to take you to six figures, you mentioned three very important things to me, basically. So all you're saying is everybody can get to six figures, but one, the people around you matter.
Yep.
That's because you're shadowing the people you're talking to, the people who are around you, and that self motivation, right? So when you have that, you shadowing, you selling yourself. In your words, you're selling yourself. You're trying to learn as much as possible. Two, you mentioned certifications. You mentioned the CISSP, and I think you mentioned something called OSCP or OSSP
Yep.
or
OSCP.
OSCP. Yeah. So you mentioned those certifications. It even sounded to me like you put more emphasis on the certification than the degree. So the motivation, the shadowing, the certifications. And then the third thing you mentioned, which was right at the end, was the labs, that is the hands-on, getting the hands-on stuff and doing it, so even if you don't have experience in it, you can have labs and work on, just to make sure you have that feel of a real job, of real time doing it and working in the corporate field. So those sound to me like those are three magical combinations you need if you want to succeed. True or false?
True.
Great, 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 great. Is there any other thing you'd like to add to those three?
Um, I think if you have those three, then you are determined.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So to end this, two questions, and then we're going to end this. The first is if you were starting all over again with the knowledge you have now, but you're starting all over again without a degree, no associates, no bachelors, nothing. You were starting all over again. I want you to give me maybe 5 to 10 steps and resources you would use to get back to where you are or to get to your first six figures. Steps and resources you would use.
First one is YouTube.com.
First one is what?
YouTube.com.
YouTube University. Okay.
Listen, I can't emphasize that. I can't emphasize that enough. Everything that you want is on YouTube. Every single thing that you want is on YouTube. That is number one. And I believe our viewers know this. Listen, YouTube everything. How to dance, it's on YouTube. How to eat food faster, it's on YouTube. How much more security stuff? Because people are making money out of these videos. Gone are the days that they have to, go put these videos at a particular place and sell it. They'll put it on YouTube, and you, as a content viewer, you watch it for free. So why don't you make good use of it? So first is educating myself. YouTube. I'll spend most time.
Do you have a channel? Do you have a channel or a name in mind?
Me, this is how I study. I go to YouTube, how to be a cybersecurity engineer, get my pen and paper. I don't go listening to every video and taking every advice, because there is vast information out there. So I'll just get on YouTube, search how to become a cybersecurity engineer. And I will even search for analyst. I'll hit it big, a cybersecurity engineer. Those time from the analyst is good, but I will learn from there how to become a cybersecurity engineer straight ahead and start learning what I want to learn. Like I'm first going to start learning into operating systems like Linux, get myself dirty in Linux, Windows, know the ins and outs of these operating systems.
Once you give them to me, I'll put them in the link for our viewers to be able to research for themselves and use. So the first thing is to go on YouTube, research how to become a cybersecurity engineer. Basically, that's just giving you an overview, right? And putting you into the mood and letting you know what the journey is going to be like in the beginning. Okay, so what would be the third thing?
The third thing. The third thing is being self-motivated and not wasting time. Being self-motivated and not wasting time.
Okay. So I will not put being self-motivated as number 3, but I know it's your top thing to do. Be self-motivated. I think you've hit it all the time, but I'm not going to put it at number 3 because here I'm just looking for resources. Doesn't make sense. I'm just looking for resources. Let's say an already self-motivated person.
Okay.
Who's going to look at YouTube University to see, okay, how to become a cybersecurity channel, an engineer. I've joined the Discord channels that you've given to me. So what is my third thing? What do I need to do? I will hope that somebody who's gotten to this point is motivated enough.
That's true.
Right. So what will be the next step?
So in terms of resources, I've given you YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I've given you Discord channel.
Yeah.
Udemy. Yep. So this is what I did. If I see a Udemy, if I go to Udemy and I see a Udemy video that I want, and even if I cannot afford it, I'll go follow the professor or whoever did that video. I'll follow that person on LinkedIn. And oftentimes these people do coupons. Oh, get my course for free, and they'll put it on LinkedIn. Then I enroll. So I don't even end up buying it sometimes because they put a coupon on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and then I get in. So if you want to be cybersecurity, you can find every cybersecurity engineering course on Udemy.
Okay. From here, let's talk about certifications. So what certifications? You mentioned the CISSP and you mentioned the OSCP. Where am I starting from? Is that the first certification I'm starting from, or where am I starting from?
No. The first certification you want to start from is a Security Plus certification if you want to get into cybersecurity.
Okay.
It's very big. Security Plus helped me a lot. My associate degree was not centered much on cybersecurity, and it was 2 years. So Security Plus introduces you to some domains in cybersecurity, and it teaches you the surface stuff you need to know, which is very, very good. Security Plus also opens a lot of doors. So if you want to get in and you're a fresh starter, I'll tell you security and resource. I'll give you Daryl Gibson. I used his book to pass my certification back then, and still I see a lot of people talking about him all the time. He has audios and he has book, he has PDF. So he's the best resource I give to anybody who wants to get Security Plus. Once you get Security Plus, then you have to find your niche. And now, obviously, this is the thing about security. There is a lot of domains in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not just cybersecurity. I do everything. There are defensive side and offensive side. The CISSP that I mentioned earlier is more on the offensive side. The defensive side. OSCP is on the offensive side. So after you've gotten your Security Plus, you can now sit down and say, okay, what do I really want to do? Do I really want to do defensive, or what we say blue team or red team? So if you want to do blue team, then you can go ahead and see if you can write your CISSP. It might take a while depending on how serious you are, but the only thing about CISSP is you need a certain amount of years of experience. Though you can write it, but they won't give you the certification until you have those number of years of experience. But then there are other certifications that you can take, and there are so many free certifications too. If you want to do, let's say, vulnerability management, you can go to qualis.com. Qualis, if you are still in school, you can use your school email address, or if you are working in an organization, you can use your organization email address to just learn vulnerability management. And,
So you
and
mentioned Qualys a lot, and you mentioned vulnerability management. So, and vulnerability management is one of the domains.
yeah,
Wow, thank you very much, Rich. You've given us so much information, and I like that you hit the nail on the head when it comes to motivation, just moving on, focusing on what you want to do, and keep pushing on that. Thank you for joining me. Are there any last words? Is there something you would like to tell anybody who is looking to get into security? Anybody who is down, who came from maybe similar backgrounds as you did? Do you have any last words for anyone out there like that?
yes. I think one thing that I always tell people is be careful who you surround yourself with. Be careful who you call your friends. The number of people you surround yourself with. When I first came to the States, people told me go do warehouse. That is all that there is for you to do for now. I want people to know there is so much that you can do. There is so much that you can do yourself. Be careful. If you surround yourself with IT people, there is a likelihood that you become an IT professional. If you surround yourself with warehouse friends, there's a likelihood that you stay in the warehouse. If you surround yourself with doctors, there's a likelihood that you become a doctor. Know who you surround yourself with, know what you want, and go get it. That's it.
Wow, thank you very much. I love that. And on that note, I'll tell you guys to go ahead, like, subscribe, follow Richard. As you heard, he has a lot of mentees. So blow his phone up, and if he's free, he's going to at least guide you in a proper way from a distance. Thank you very much, and next time, guys.